Today we're going to talk about the Delonghi La Specialista Opera model. This is the EC9555. And I'm quite excited about this model because it brings nice improvements over the previous generation. Now with the Opera, you finally get 15 grind settings. That is really good. So that's one of the major advancements. Also, with this model, you get cold drinks. So you got a cold brew and you've also got a cool espresso. Very nice. This machine you can also set up to do Americano as well as a Coffee Crema. So it comes with a really nice drink menu in my opinion. So in today's video, we're just going to use the machine. I'm going to show it to you, tell you what I like about it. And so far I like a lot about it. There's just one thing that kind of bothers me. I will say one gripe right away, and that is the water tank. Although it has a sensor in it, which is great, what I don't like is the fact that you cannot see it unless you take it out. That means I don't know what the water level is inside. But with all of that being said, let's just take a look at all sides. So what's really nice about this model is it's got an integrated tamper. So that's quite convenient, and it really saves a whole lot of mess on your kitchen counter. On the other side, it's got a steam dial with a 90-degree turn on it to start your steam. And on the back, you'll see it's got a dedicated on-off button. I think that's really nice. Now, I do also quite like the front panel. You have got a pretty logical layout. The first thing you got is a dose level or dial here. That's essentially a timer for how long the grinder should grind. Then you've got a selection between 1 or 2, and that has to do with if you're using a single basket or if you're using a double basket. And that's also going to change the extraction time. The OK button will wake it up from sleep and also start your drink. Then you got temperatures, low, medium, and high. Finally, you got a hot water button, and then you got your drink selection. So on the drink selection, you've got espresso cool, cold brew, espresso, Americano, and coffee. Now, this machine is made out of stainless steel. And what's really cool about this machine as well is it's got this little guy that folds down. So you can put your espresso cup on there and it folds up out of the way and it holds itself up with a magnet. That's very nice. It just looks actually much more handsome than the previous models of the La Specialista. All right, so what does the machine come with? First of all, it comes with 2 pressurized baskets. So you can use these if you're using older pre-ground coffee. You can also use these for the cool espresso. That's what it recommends because when you are extracting with a cool temperature, the pressure goes way down. And therefore, when you use these, this will bring the pressure back up for you. It also comes with 2 non-pressurized baskets. This is the single. The double is inside right now. And you'll notice that this is tapered. And anyway, this tapered design, I think, does help for the Delonghi La Specialista to be able to build up pressure. And considering it's only got 15 grind settings, I think that is a positive thing for this machine. And with that being said, I'm generally right around 8 or 9. So for me, it does grind more than fine enough for espresso. Something that I also really welcome is a new portafilter. If you take a look at the spout there, you will see that it's got a different shape. In fact, it looks much more like La Marzocco. Something else that I should mention is that they finally included a 3-way solenoid inside. That's what this little rubber disc is for back flushing. So the manometer itself has got a black dial on it, and it's got white indices with a white needle. It's pretty handsome to look at. Now there's another new thing that this machine comes with I've never seen before. It's got, in fact, a bean level indicator. So when there's no beans in there or not enough for a shot, it's gonna actually tell you right here that you ought to add more beans. How does it do this? Well, it's got here on the sides 2 photo eyes that check for beans. That's crazy. I've never seen that before, and I think that's really neat. Now, that doesn't disable you from being able to grind. You can still do it. This is just an indicator letting you know you should refill your beans. But what I have tried out lately is you can go ahead and just set your dial here on the side all the way to 40. That's going to grind for about 20 seconds. Dump your beans in, and you can single dose. Yeah, those are pretty much the new things with this machine. And I will say this, so far, I've gotten actually very tasty shots. I'm actually a little bit surprised. The shots are really well-rounded, balanced, sweet. They're good shots, whether that's an espresso or a Coffee Crema. I tried a cold coffee, all very good. And we're gonna do here a demo in just a moment. All right, so for this test, I wanna show you guys how I can single dose with this machine and also how it does with a lighter roast. These beans are on the lighter side of medium. So let's just see what we get here. What I kind of want to demonstrate is the fact that the grinder does struggle a bit with lighter roasts. All right, so I got 17.3 grams in right now. Got the grinder set at 9. I'm actually going to set that a little bit lower. Okay. Got the grinder set at 6, and now I'm gonna dump in the 17.3 grams, and first of all, see what we get out. Okay, so the directions say to tamp twice, 1, 2, and then to leave it there while removing it to have a cleaner puck. So that's what the puck looks like right there. Let's see how much did we get out. 16.8. So 0.5 grams that was stuck in there. So not the best for single dosing, but it works. I mean, if you want to, you can do it. Let's see what this lighter roast tastes like. All right, the grind size is pretty good on there. 30 grams. I'm actually gonna go for about 40, 45 out. Ah, it stopped on its own anyway. Okay, 50 grams is what we got out. That's about a 1-to-3 ratio, and it is usually a little bit better, I feel like, to pull a longer ratio on these lighter roast beans, because otherwise they can be a little too sour. I did also set up the temperature to be at the highest temperature because lighter roasts do require that. Wow, that's very pleasant. It's actually floral. You hear that term thrown around a bit, but I can actually taste it a bit. No unpleasant acidity. Really just more of a floral shot. So that did a nice job there for me on lighter roasts. Now, I'm not an expert on light roast espresso. I do kind of prefer that nice syrupy, chocolatey, and that's what we're gonna do next. All right, so what we're going to do next is fill up the bean hopper with my favorite bean, and we're gonna pull a normal espresso. I got these beans right here. These are like a medium dark roast, and they're nice and chocolatey. They got 20% Robusta in there, which means that you're almost guaranteed to get some decent crema out of it. Let's just see what it looks like. You're also gonna see this display here go away once I add beans. And I will be honest, I am a bean hoppered kind of guy. Single dosing is fine. I like to do it if I'm switching between beans or decaf to regular caffeinated coffee. But otherwise, I just like the simplicity of having a bean hopper. All right, so I'm gonna set my grind back to 9. Let's give it a tamp twice. And what did we get out? 17.3 grams. Now that also was quite a jump between 6 and 9, so I'm gonna dump this out and redo my grind. And we're gonna see what the consistency looks like, and that way we can be sure also that the grind size is the same for the whole shot. Waste not, want not. Now I think you can hear that the grinder struggles less with these slightly darker beans. They're just easier to grind. So the puck actually looks nice and clean there. 18.0. Let's put this in the machine. Here we go. I'm gonna also change the temperature to medium. Oh, calling it. $20 grams. I'm gonna stop it at 35. Okay. And now what you did hear there is that little psst at the end. Really nice that we finally got a 3-way solenoid in this Delonghi. And look at that shot. That does look tasty. So again, this is a slightly darker roast. I expect this one to be nice and chocolatey. That's generally what I get out of it. Wow, it's super smooth. Velvety, almost. It's got really good body. It's got those chocolate notes and a little sweetness towards the end. And no bitterness or sourness. It's just really smooth. Honestly, those are the kind of shots I've been getting out of this machine. I'm very pleasantly surprised with the results that I've been getting. Next, we're gonna make one of my favorite drinks, a Coffee Crema. All right, we're gonna move the selector dial to coffee. And what I think is interesting is it doesn't actually ask you in the directions to change the grind setting. So we're just gonna keep it at a 9, and let's go ahead. Excellent. So that's what the puck looks like right there. And here comes our Coffee Crema. You'll hear that it doesn't start with a pre-infusion. It just goes to town right away with the pump pressure. And there it comes. That's looking pretty good too. So I'm quite delighted that this machine can do espresso, but it can also do a Coffee Crema, and it can do cold drinks. I mean, it's a very versatile machine. It's basically like a super automatic, one of the newer ones, but with better drinks. You get a larger dose here, you have more control over the dose, over the grind, and yeah, it's just in general quite a machine, to be honest. Okay, so that's my Coffee Crema right there. As I mentioned before, I really like to wake up in the mornings with a Coffee Crema. Oh, that's good. All right, next I want to show you what a cold drink looks like, a cold brew, and then we're going to move on to a cappuccino. Now this is something I think is pretty cool about the cold drink selection. If you move on over to cold brew, what happens is the OK button turns blue. Pretty neat. So let's go ahead and do that. Cold brew, here we come. And you'll see also that the temperature lights are no longer illuminated either. Now the cold brew is one that takes, I think, 4 to 5 minutes. Now I have measured the temperature here on the cold brew, and it does range right around between 25 and 30 degrees Celsius. Same for the cold espresso. You also see that it does the cold brew at a very low pressure here. It mentions that in the manual. All right, there we go. There's our cold brew right there. Let's give it a taste. And I will say this, I'm not really a cold brew, cool espresso kind of guy. I've tried this before a couple of times on this machine, and I find it pleasant. It brings out a little bit of sweetness. There's no bitterness to it, but I really prefer my coffee, honestly, warm or hot, so. All right, next we're going to make one of my favorite drinks, a cappuccino, so tasty. And I'm going to cheat a little bit. First of all, I'm not going to use the included Delonghi pitcher. It is robust and good quality, I think, but it's a little small. And the pouring spout just doesn't work that great for me, so I'm going to use this handleless one. This has been giving me better results. And I'm also going to use a larger cup here. That's going to also help to have more room to kind of try to make a design. And then finally, I'm going to put a little bit of chocolate in there as well, and that's going to make the design look a little bit cooler. Let's go ahead and make our cappuccino, and I'm also going to see just how much water we add while we're doing so. Okay, there we got our espresso ready, and now let's do some milk steaming. There we go. So you just gotta position it kind of towards the top to inject the air in there, and off towards the side to be able to get a whirlpool going in there. You want it to go round and round and round. And that way, the air that you inject into it goes a bit down and around and incorporates with the rest of the milk. I do also find that holding it really steady helps as well. Shouldn't be jiggling it or going up and down or anything like that. Just keep it in one position once you get that rotation going. Ooh, it's getting plenty hot already. Now what's nice about this machine too is that this is actually a non-burn. Steam one doesn't really get hot. That also makes it a bit easier to clean off. So you can see just a simple wipe and it's already clean. We're gonna give it a little rinse through there. And let's see, what did we add? 24 grams we added to the milk. And as you can see here, this is super duper creamy. Add a little bit of chocolate. Give it a little swirl, and let's see if we can pour a design or not. Okay, that looks pretty good right there. As you can tell, super duper creamy. Just look at that. Ooh. Nice. All right, let's go ahead and give that a taste. Oh yeah, that is a tasty cappuccino. I've been getting really nice drinks out of this machine and really tasty cappuccinos too. All right, before we put a bow on this one and move on to conclusions, just a few points of contention here. The first thing is, I find it unfortunate that you got to print out your own manual. It would be nice if they would at least print it out in English for you. The second thing is, it's really hard to see the water level. And in fact, from the front or the side, you can't see the water level at all. You would have to turn the machine all the way around and try to look through the smoke-colored water tank here to be able to see the level. And that's not practical because this is a really heavy machine. The third thing that's unfortunate is, just like the La Specialista Arte model, you cannot remove this grinder hopper. And that's quite a shame. You might want to be able to remove it to get at the burrs, to clean the burrs, to maybe dislodge something that might be stuck in there. And you can't remove it. So I do find that's quite too bad. All right, so let's draw some conclusions. What do I think about this machine? Is it worth the money? And how does it compare to similar offers? So I have to say that I like the machine a lot. I think it looks cool. I like the all metal stainless steel design. I think it looks pretty nice. I like the layout here. It's nice and logical. The manometer looks cool with its black dial. It does a good job steaming milk. I find it does excellently with espresso. So far, the best for sure of any of the Delonghi semi-automatics that I've tried. I like this new spouted portafilter that reminds me of La Marzocco. And I mean, it's versatile. It can do cold drinks. It can do normal espresso. I didn't even show you the Americano. It can do that as well. It's got a water spout here. So the water spout is good for Americanos or if you want to make a tea. And what I really like is that it does Coffee Crema. So super versatile machine, and the ergonomics are also very good. The integrated tamper works better than what I was expecting. I hope you have a great day. Thanks so much for watching. And until next time, I say happy coffee drinking and happy espresso drinking. Bye now.